Hi, my name's Karen. I'm 62 years old. I live in the Wellington National Park on the east coast of lovely Australia. I would like to share my story and give this testimonial in the hope of inspiring and giving some hope to those suffering from adrenal exhaustion or adrenal fatigue. My problem started many years ago, about 30 years ago, when I had chronic fatigue syndrome. I lived with that work for many years and had a lot of symptoms throughout my working life with chronic fatigue, but it would have been approximately 8 or 9 years ago now that I first noticed my symptoms were changing. I did think that these symptoms were related to chronic fatigue at the time, and I sort of did not take any notice of the symptoms. I just pushed on regardless, which I now know was a big mistake. My symptoms started back then with periods of dizziness, like I was going to pass out, heart palpitations. I had increased sensitivity to chemicals, increased sensitivity to drugs. Being a nurse, that was difficult. So these symptoms gradually grew worse over the years. I could tell that my system was changing, and I was becoming a lot more allergic generally. Once again, I did think this was a part of my previous medical history and did not take any notice. The symptoms started to get worse approximately 2 to 3 years ago. The heart palpitations got worse. I started to have slight panic attacks. I started to feel that I couldn't cope. I started to have other more frequent episodes of migraine headaches and a few other symptoms as well. And I just, at that time, virtually just slowed down on my workload and cut back a bit until I felt a little bit better. And that usually did the trick. I improved and away I went again. It came to the crunch back in 2014. I went to the doctor because I wasn't feeling well at all. I was working full time. I had some blood tests done, and the result came back that I had adrenal exhaustion. I didn't know what adrenal exhaustion was. I'd never heard of it. I knew nothing about it. I was put on a form of cortisone, which had a very adverse reaction to, and after a stressful event that happened to me at that particular time, my health slid down very quickly to the point where I was maybe in bed a lot of the time. I would get up to do certain chores and felt so ill I would go back to bed. The migraines increased, the sensitivity increased. At this stage, I knew I was in big trouble. I started doing the doctor rounds, spent a considerable amount of funds trying to find out what was wrong with me, but couldn't really get any concise answers rather than take it easy and go home. So I tried all those things. I tried different therapies. I tried vitamins. So I was virtually self-navigating to cure myself of something that I knew absolutely nothing about. I then had some treatment at the end of 2015 or in the middle of 2015, which did benefit me quite a lot. And I did start to improve slightly, but I was plateaued. I was still very ill and still could not find out any answers. I was very frustrated because I felt, what is wrong with me? Nothing worked. I can remember thinking, I'm trying so many things and nothing is working. My family at this stage became very concerned, very worried. I lost a huge amount of weight. To me it was a lot. I lost about 17 kilos in a matter of about 6 or 7 months, and along with that I lost muscle mass as well. I felt shaky, I felt weak, and I found it just difficult to get through each day. At this stage I really thought that I was going to die. My sister came across Dr. Lamb online on the internet, and she suggested that I get in contact with him, which I did. I had my first consult with Dr. Justin at the end of January 2016 this year. After that consult, which lasted a fair amount of time, I felt much more inspired. I felt relieved because I now knew that this is what was wrong with me. He gave me hope, an incredible amount of hope. He gave me information. He gave me plenty of reading material, which I madly grabbed and read, and I still read it now. I still review that material. I still continue to read it. I still read Dr. Lamb's book because it helps me. Each time I read it, it helps me. It gives me some sort of hope, I suppose, some sort of benefit I get from reading his book. He changed my treatments a little bit. I was taking vitamin therapy at that time. He changed that around a little bit. He didn't reduce it drastically. He did cease a few of those. I notified my doctor all the way along what was happening, and my doctor was very supportive of Dr. Lamb. So it was good that I had two support systems, and now I could move ahead, hopefully. I first noticed at the end of 2 weeks a little bit of improvement, and I thought, no, this can't last. I was having severe crashes approximately every 2 weeks, which were a lot of the symptoms that I had previously, only these were about 50% worse. So I was in a bad way. So after a couple of months, or probably a little bit less, I noticed that I was coming up in levels. I was getting a little bit better. And I thought, no, just wait. Hopefully this will last. And guess what? It's been now 7-8 months I've been on Dr. Lamb's program, and I continue to gradually improve. And I can't tell you how absolutely thrilled I am. I feel a lot more like my old self. I've actually gone back to work 2 days a week. I can't go back into the previous work that I used to do because I really don't think that I could cope with that just at this time. But I'm absolutely very, very happy that I've gone back to work even the 2 days a week. I can spend time with my grandchildren. I can cope a lot better with my grandchildren where I couldn't before. 3 of them, 2 boys and a girl. So they're very active, and I now can interact with them a lot better. Socially, I've picked up my old contacts. I'm getting on with life. I'm more enthusiastic about life. I've taken on a little bit more of an interest, but I do have to caution myself at times because that crash is quite often there just around the corner, and I am aware of it. So Dr. Lamb has taught me how to manage that, how to avoid having those big crashes. And I must admit, I have not had a major crash now for probably about 5 months. So I can only put it down to management, watching the signs, and my gradual recovery program is progressing. So that's my story. I do hope that it has helped someone because that's what I want to achieve from doing this testimonial. I can't stress enough how important it is to not let adrenal fatigue get to the stage that it got with me. I know that at my age I've got a tough climb, but I'm taking each day as it comes. I did suffer also from severe heart pounding, which still continues, but I've learnt to live with that. I've learnt to cope with that, as I have learnt to cope with many of the other symptoms that are now slowly reducing, I'm happy to say. So, as I said, that's my story.